Imagine Europe, a continent that was a battlefield for centuries. In the 20th century alone, Europeans lost 70 million lives. That's about the population of today's France or the UK. But now, Europe has become one of the most peaceful places on Earth. How did that happen? Why is Europe now peaceful, rich, and stable, while other regions are not? Today, we'll explore the secret of the European Union, one of the most unusual and successful political projects in history. Europe used to be in constant war, starting from around 1250 BC with the first recorded battle near today's Germany, the Battle of Tolens. Until 1945, Europeans lost about 120 million people. That's as deadly as the worst pandemic in European history, the plague. But after 1945, everything changed. Instead of fighting again, countries decided to unite. France and Germany, old enemies, suddenly started working together. One of their first projects was to share control over coal and steel, the key resources for making weapons. This became the European Coal and Steel Community. Its idea was simple but brilliant. If you share the materials for war, you can't use them against each other. In 1951, 6 countries, France, Germany, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, formed the ECSC. This group later became the core of the European Union. In 1957, they signed a new treaty removing more trade limits, not just for coal and steel, but for everything. This was the start of the EU's 4 freedoms: free movement of goods, people, services, and money. Together, they created a single market of 160 million people that could compete with the US and the USSR. Today, the EU has 27 member states and is the second largest economy in the world. What makes it special? It's not a country or an empire. Each country keeps its own laws, army, language, and culture. It's a voluntary, flexible, yet strong union. And that's its real power. Germany, which started 2 world wars, became the biggest winner of the EU. How? By combining industrial power, high productivity, and strict financial discipline. Germany kept advanced industries, cars, machines, and made exports the engine of growth. German workers make more while spending less. Why? Because of investments in vocational training, automation, and smart organization. Germany is also known for careful money management, low national debt, balanced budgets, and a strong banking system. The Deutsche Bundesbank, Germany's central bank, became a model of financial discipline. It gave the German mark a reputation as the most stable currency in Europe and inspired the European Central Bank. The ECB still follows the same policy: low inflation and strict budget rules. This builds trust and keeps the EU economy stable. In 2002, many EU countries adopted a shared currency, the euro, and that gave Germany an even bigger advantage. A stable, relatively cheap euro made German exports even more competitive. Germany gained access to a huge market and cheap loans. Its central location, strong infrastructure, and political stability helped it become the EU's economic leader. But the euro wasn't just helpful, it also caused big problems. Weaker economies like Greece, Spain, and Portugal suddenly got access to cheap credit, like teenagers getting unlimited credit cards. Money flowed easily. Governments built roads, stadiums, and ran big programs. But the party didn't last. Debt grew fast, and when the 2008 global crisis hit, these countries were nearly bankrupt. Before the euro, Greece or Spain could simply devalue their currencies to make exports cheaper and restart their economies. But with the euro, that option was gone. The exchange rate was controlled by the European Central Bank, which mainly protects strong economies like Germany's. Greece became the symbol of the crisis. Budgets collapsed, youth unemployment went over 50%, and mass protests filled the streets. The EU stepped in with strict rules, cut wages, reduced pensions, raised taxes, and slashed spending. This made the recession worse and increased public anger. In 2004, the EU expanded in a big way. 10 new countries joined. including Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and the Baltic states. It was like opening the floodgates. Millions of people from Eastern Europe moved west looking for better lives. In 2004 alone, about 2 million Eastern Europeans migrated west. For Western Europe, this was great. They got cheap, hard-working, and skilled labor. People ready to do the jobs locals didn't want. According to Eurostat, Luxembourg's GDP per person is over 100,000 euros, while Bulgaria's is just around 20,000 euros. And while all countries are equal on paper in the EU Council, in reality, some voices matter more than others depending on economic power. So is the EU about equal chances for all? Or is it a system where the rich always win? A stable euro helps strong countries grow even more. Europe has chosen peace and compromise, but the cost is not the same for everyone. Some grow their wealth, others pay with migration and debt. Gary was right. The channel about personal finance, wealth, and how to level up your life. Hit subscribe so you don't miss videos that don't just inspire you. They help shift your mindset and change your reality.